Hey Reading Booster parents, so this is a video for you to help you understand how I'm expecting these yellow phonogram cards to be used, and I have another video that you can use if you would like at any time to pull out and run through the 26 the 26 letters of the alphabet and the sounds that they make. And I just want to talk to you about how you can use that, how you can do it on your own, and also how you can use your blue cases like this that you have. So these cards are, as we continue through this program, we will add cards. Right now we want to make sure that we have the 26 phonograms all well established, and we will, some of this, it might be different from other curriculums that you've used, and so we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with this. We will be talking about short vowel sounds and long vowel sounds, and also the other sounds that those vowels tend to make. Vowels tend to be the trickiest ones because they have multiple sounds. Most consonants are single sound letters. K always says k unless it's silent, but we'll get to that another year. And so usually the consonants come a little quicker, but I know for one of my kids, they could not for the life of them remember the sound that M made. So if you have a child like that is just for whatever reason hung up on whatever letter, don't get distressed by that. We will just keep it in their review section of their blue box, and eventually they will get it. It might take them a good chunk of this year, and that's okay. We will just keep reminding them what that letter is and move on to the other things that they can. That doesn't mean they need to just stop there until they know that. So just to say that is kind of a typical thing, and we don't necessarily know what's holding them up on that one thing, but we just keep teaching and reteaching and gently bringing that back to the front of their minds until they have it locked in place, and eventually they will remember that. So the way that these cards are used, you will want to do them in different orders. So the video that I put together showing doing these with them, you would not want to use that same video on a daily basis. It might be great if you need a little 4-minute break and you can be like, hey, go watch your sound video and review your sounds that way today. So it's okay to use that now and then, but I would not recommend using that on a regular basis. Also, the letter sounds that they know, we don't need to keep reviewing those with them, and so to have them sit and do a 4-minute video, for most of the kids that would be counterproductive and not a great use of their time, because the ones that they know, they don't need to keep hearing. They need to be focusing on the new ones and the ones that they're continuing to struggle with. So this is how that looks. You're just going to have the cards that are in your review section. And so inside your box, there will be different dividers, and some of them say review and some of them say mastered. And so what we're going to do is the ones that they still need to work on, or the ones that are new, are going to go into their review section of that box. And those are the ones that you can pull out. If you can do them a couple times a day, as many days of the week as you can, that is fantastic. And hopefully it will only take a quick thing. So maybe it's something that you keep next to the stove, and while you're cooking a meal, you just grab out a few cards and do that with them. If you have an older child that would be able to do this with them, that might be a great point of contact for them. It's not meant to be a very time-consuming part of the program, but we just want to keep reviewing. And it's things that they're learning, so it's not like they are expected to know them necessarily. These are the things that we're reviewing and continuing to go over with them. So whatever those cards are, however many cards are in their reviewed folder, their review section, those are the ones that you want to do as often as you can. Once they are answering that card correctly on the first try without any prompts or helps from you, at least 2 days in a row, probably 3 days in a row, then you can put it into their mastered folder, their mastered divider. So that's kind of how those two sections are work. So leave them in the reviewed section. If they get it right, don't immediately move it to the mastered, because they might have had a lucky guess. We don't want to, but we don't know for sure until if they nail it a couple times, 2 to 3 days in a row, first time try, we don't need to be reminding them, wait, how many sounds are there? There's 2 sounds. What's the second sound? Like, they should know it 100% for sure. So when you pull up that Y, they should be able to go y, I, I, E. Like, that should just pop right out of their mouths that they know that. And it's okay if they have a little pause in between the sounds. It's not the speed of the response, but it should be a solid, knowledgeable, clearly you can tell that they know the answer to this card. If they don't, we just leave it in the reviewed and we do it again the next day. We don't need to keep going over it again and again and again and pulling it out more times. If you want to, it's fine to do it a few times a day, but they will just, as they continue to hear it on a regular basis, it will eventually cement itself into their memory. So some kids do struggle with it, making that leap from short term to long term, and so we just keep working at it, and eventually they will get that. So these cards you're going to use in whatever order you want to. It's good to shuffle them up from day to day so that they're a little different, but you will show them the card. You don't need to say anything else going along with that, except if you want, you can say, tell me the sound of this card, but they know what's coming. The yellow cards, they're going to give you the sound that that letter makes. So you would show them this. They would say, and if they've already gotten that right a couple days in a row, we're going to stick that into our mastered. If they first say, or are like, is it? Keep it in the reviewed one for a little longer until they first chance write confident response that they know what that sound makes. So that's how these cards are going to work. So the yellow ones, you're going to show them this letter. They will tell you the sound that it makes. There are red ones then that we'll get to later, and the red ones, you will say the sound, and then they can either, depending on their level of ability and their interest in that, they can either tell you the letter that makes that sound, they can point to the letter tile that you would use to make that sound, or they can write that sound, the letters that would make that sound down on a marker board or piece of paper or something like that. So, and then you're going to have blue cards that are like rules, and you will read the front of the card to them, and their response should be what is written on the back. And so those are just great rules that we need to see and review that will help them. We call them our key cards. And then the green cards are your spelling words. And again, as you use your green, as you're doing the spelling words, different kids are going to want to do that in different ways. And you can give as much freedom or leeway as you want with that in terms of the method that you're using for them to say the letters back to you. So I know some of my kids really, I'm pretty sure they probably would be diagnosed with dysgraphia. They really struggle with the fine motor skills in writing. And so, you know, spelling is different from my handwriting time. And so all I want to know is that you know how to spell the word. So you can demonstrate that to me in any way. I would let them write it if they want to. I would let them speak that out loud. I would let them use the letter tiles and manipulate those and put them up together. However they would like to do that, in demonstrating to me that they know how to spell the word, that they know when they hear those sounds, these are the letters that put together represent those sounds. So that's just a quick introduction to these cards and to your box that you'll be using. You can keep sending these back and forth each week. That's what we will be doing. We do a little bit of review from those each week, and very quickly we will get to every child having all 26 letters of the alphabet, and as the year goes on, we'll be adding some other sounds in there as well. So feel free to ask me any questions that you have at any time, but I hope that clears up how to use your cards and boxes.